When Germany declared war on the Soviet Union in July 1941, there was a mixed reaction from the West. On one hand, Germany now found itself fighting a war with two fronts to defend, three if you count helping out in Italy's disaster in North Africa. But on the other, Churchill and Roosevelt now found themselves having to play nice with the world's foremost communist power. Despite being viciously anti-communist, Churchill seemed willing to take a pragmatic approach and cooperate with the Soviets, as Germany was the obvious immediate threat. Churchill was seemingly willing to work with literally anyone to beat the Nazis. He was famously quoted saying, "If Hitler invaded hell, I would make at least a favourable reference to the devil in the House of Commons." And work with the devil Churchill did. A few days after the beginning of Operation Barbarossa on the 12th of July 1941, the Anglo-Soviet agreement was signed by the British ambassador to the Soviet Union, Sir Stafford Cripps, and the Soviet Foreign Minister Vyacheslav Molotov. The agreement contained two important commitments. One, the two governments mutually undertake to render each other assistance and support of all kinds in the present war against Hitlerite Germany, and two, they further undertake that during this war they will neither negotiate nor conclude an armistice or treaty of peace except by mutual agreement. The agreement was then expanded the next year in May 1942. The Anglo-Soviet Treaty of 1942, formerly called the 20-Year Mutual Assistance Agreement between the United Kingdom and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, permitted the Soviets formal entrance into the Allied powers. It sought to ally the Soviets not just militarily for the duration of the war, but politically, hopefully long after the defeat of Germany. The first major joint military undertaking between the two new allies was the invasion of Iran in August 1943. British and Commonwealth forces moved east through Iraq and the Soviets pushed south through Azerbaijan. Iran surrendered less than 6 days in the face of overwhelming Anglo-Soviet military supremacy. The current Shah Reza Pahlavi abdicated and went into exile, first to the British island of Mauritius and then to South Africa, where he died in 1944. He was then replaced by his son Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who ruled Iran until the Iranian Revolution in 1979. The north of Iran was occupied by the Soviets and the south by the British. There were a few different reasons why the invasion happened. First, to secure oil fields in Iran that would be crucial to fueling the war effort. Second, to counter German influence in the country. By the early 1940s, Germany was Iran's largest foreign trade partner at over 50%, and the Allies were concerned that if Iran joined the Axis, the Soviets would be surrounded. But third, and really the most important, was to provide easy access to the Soviet Union through which to easily send aid and lend-lease support. A few years later, in November 1943, Churchill, Roosevelt and Stalin met in the Soviet embassy in Tehran to discuss the future of the war with Germany. The Tehran conference was a huge moment for the so-called Big Three, the three superpowers of the Allies. Numerous topics, including the superpowers' relationship with Turkey, Iran and Yugoslavia and the fate of Japan, were discussed at the conference, but the main point was the possibility of Britain and the US opening a second front against Germany in the form of a counter-invasion of Western Europe. During the conference, as a symbol of solidarity with the Russian people, a highly decorative and bejeweled ceremonial longsword was presented to Stalin and the Russian delegation by Churchill and the British. The sword was commissioned by King George VI, and in both English and Russian was inscribed with the message, "To the steel-hearted citizens of Stalingrad, the gift of King George VI, in token to the homage of the British people." It was designed by Reginald Gleedow, Fine Arts Don at the University of Oxford. The Russian language component was supervised by the Slavonic iconographer and president of Pembroke College in Cambridge, Sir Ellis Hovell Minns. The sword was fabricated by the Wilkinson Sword Company and was crafted by the swordsmiths Tom Beasley, Sid Wouse, the calligrapher M.C. Oliver and the silversmith Corporal Leslie G. Durbin of the Royal Air Force. The sword was a two-handed, double-edged longsword measuring about 4 feet long. It was incredibly ornately decorated with a silver crossguard, which ends were shaped like leopard heads with gold accents, as well as a gold wire-wrapped grip and a rock crystal pommel decorated with a gold English rose. The 36-inch blade was made of high-quality steel from Sheffield, the famous Steel City in the north of England. The scabbard was crimson Persian leather and was decorated with silver-gilt royal arms of the United Kingdom, 5 silver mounts and 3 rubies on golden stars. The sword was presented at a ceremony in one of the halls of the embassy. A British and Soviet honour guard and band played both the British national anthem and the Internationale. Dressed in his Royal Air Force Commodore uniform, Churchill presented the sword to Stalin and said, "I am commanded to present this sword of honour as a token of homage of the British people." Stalin seemed rather pleased with his new present, even going so far as to kiss the sword. He thanked Churchill and the British before handing it to Roosevelt to inspect. As he admired the sword, Roosevelt said, "Truly they had hearts of steel," in reference to the meaning of Stalin's name, Man of Steel. In a rather humorous moment, after inspecting the sword, Stalin handed it to Marshal of the Soviet Union Klement Voroshilov. Voroshilov hadn't been paying attention and dropped it. The sword fell out of its scabbard and went clattering to the floor. An eerie omen of how the relationship between the Soviets and the West would change over the next few years. I know this has been a really short video this week, but it's because I've been spending a lot of time on the next video and the video after that at the beginning of July, so please look forward to those two. I know I am. I know I briefly touched on the Anglo-Soviet invasion of Iran in this video, but that's something that I would be really interested in doing a much longer and detailed video on in the future, so if that's something that you're interested in, please let me know. And if there's anything else that you would be interested in seeing on the channel, any history or figure, any period or time or anything, please do tell me in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.